Good evening, folks. Welcome to Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Al Huey, along with my partner, Robert Eierman. And our special guests tonight are Mr. Mike Lemming, the outgoing fair manager, and this guy next to him, Chip Holloway, who surprisingly going to be the incoming fair manager. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, sir.
We're glad to have
Pleasure
you.
to be here.
It was a surprise to hear that you're leaving us.
It was a surprise the way it happened. We weren't looking, my wife and I were not looking to move. You know, I've been here for 41 years, and my wife has been here for 28. And it just come out of the blue. We happened to be out of town with family and happened to run into somebody, and they said, hey, we have an opening at our RV park over in Pismo Beach, and I'm basically a board of director on, and we'd love to consider you for the position. So we applied for it, just thinking, okay, sure. And it wound up that
Because Pismo Beach is an area you both
yeah,
like.
Pismo Beach is just a, you know, it's an area that's hard to get used to, you know. But no, we've been going over the Central Coast for as long as actually we've been married or actually together. We enjoy going over there, and we actually have friends and relatives that live over there. So it was an opportunity that popped up out of the blue. I was really planning on being at the fairgrounds for a number of years. But this opportunity came up, and it was just a great opportunity. Financially, it's about the same. We will, where we're at right now, as at Desert Empire Fair, we're an independent contractor, so we have to pay for everything. And it's everything. We have to pay health insurance, benefits, and everything. We take care of that. So, but in this case, they're taking care of benefits. They're paying for our housing and all that kind of stuff. So it was something that we thought about. I knew what the benefits were going to be. My wife and I had talked about it, and so we went over for an interview, and they offered us the position the same day. So yeah, so it was, but it was all based on the fact is what we'd accomplished at the fairgrounds. I knew that we worked hard, and that my staff and I had done a lot at the fairgrounds, and they were looking for somebody to basically take over the management, at the RV park. So that's
Now, what's going to happen? You have another side business, Retro Records?
I sold that. Actually, my last day of owning that was last Monday, and the new owner took over Tuesday. It's just. I firmly believe that there was divine intervention, because everything happened. It happened. It just flowed together. We were able to. I mean, we put our house up for rent on Wednesday. We had it leased out on Friday. Wow. Yeah. So it's just how this happened. It was, and then plus the fact that this man right here being available. So it was all meant to be.
Now we talked earlier, and. Did I understand you guys to say that when you were being considered for the job for the fair manager, you were in the mix too?
Yeah.
Weren't you on the council at that time?
Yeah, that was one of the issues.
So were you going to pull a Jason Patton and resign, or?
No, to be honest with you, we got two different opinions. The opinion from the city attorney was I had no need to resign from council. It wasn't a conflict, but the board's council of the fair board at that time was getting conflicting information, and all things being equal, they went with Mike, and it turned out to be the better move for what he ended up dealing with, because the job description changed from the time we applied to the time the job was actually given to somebody. He started out as a state employee, but in 3 months in, you had to
No, I never did start out as a state employee.
You started as a 19-hour.
Yeah, 119-day, 1,000-hour employee is what I started.
From the state or from?
No, well, basically what it was, the initial position was going to be the CEO of the Desert Empire Fairgrounds, state employee with all these benefits. Well, then the board and the fair found out they were losing all their support from the state as far as financial support. So they said, "Oh, time out. We're not going to be able to hire a CEO with full benefits and everything." So they said, okay, the way we can hire you is as a 119-day employee, 1,000-hour employee. That's all you can work per year. So I was basically a salaried employee for about 2 years, and the state comes back and says, wait, time out. you're going to have to go on as a state employee. And we knew that we couldn't afford that. It was going to
Wait a
cost
minute. They didn't want to hire you as a state employee, and then 2 years later they said you have to become a state
Yes,
employee?
exactly. Oh, yeah. Well, well, the state was saying that. State said, you've been here for 2 years, you're not, you're a full-time employee, you have to go on as a state employee.
Okay,
So
then what happened?
Then what happened was it was going to cost us $1,500 to $2,000 a month, which we couldn't afford. So then the board and I got together and said, well, okay, why not become an independent contractor? And that's how it transpired. So I'm not really a CEO, and neither will Chip. We're just basically a manager. We're an independent contractor who manages the fairgrounds, and that's where we're at. And that's where we're at right now.
Okay, so you're essentially going to be hired under the same conditions in which he's leaving.
Yes, yeah, contractor. Yeah.
And are there limits to the number of days or hours you can put in?
Well, basically what it is, the board cannot say you have to be there a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of days or whatever. Independent contractor states that they cannot say, okay, you have to work 8 to 5, or you have to work these days or whatever.
But you
just
could
have to
if
get
you
the
want.
job. You can if you want it, but all they're saying is, okay, we're going to pay you this much a month, and you have to complete this job.
Yeah, there's a pretty
Pretty
definitive
detailed
list
list,
of job requirements that
Yeah.
you need to accomplish for this amount of money in this amount of time,
Yeah.
but not how many
How you
hours
go
each
about
day.
doing it.
Exactly.
I
yeah.
may work one 24-hour day a month, or I may work 22-hour days a month,
Yeah.
or
Or
for
2
me,
hours one
frankly,
day.
it's going to be full time
Yeah,
at the beginning because I got a lot of catching up to do.
Sure,
but
sure.
and you can do a lot of work from home. So it makes it, with the technology and everything, you can do a lot of work from home. So you just can't have set hours.
Okay.
Just accomplish the job.
I would guess it's probably saving the fairgrounds this arrangement $45,000 to $50,000 a year,
Oh, yeah,
based
easy.
on what the.
Easy.
Because if we were state employees, the pay would be restricted by the state.
Mm-hmm.
The minimum, and just the minimum would be a lot more than
Oh yeah,
what both of us
it saves at least that
would have
much.
made.
Okay, we're going to have to take a break here in just a little bit, but real quick, how did this guy get the job? I heard you were telling me you recommended because, like I said earlier, the two of you were in the mix
Yes.
the first time around, and in your view, for the best guy for the job was Mr. Holloway. So when we come back, we'll talk about Chip's transitioning over and your vision and everything. So join us right after the break. We'll be right here, Ridgecrest Talk. We'll see you on the other side.
And welcome back to our second segment here on Ridgecrest Talk on KZGN-TV. This evening we have special guests, Mr. Mike Lemming and Mr. Chip Holloway, and we're talking about fair management.
And before we went to break, we were talking about the transitioning of Chip coming in. I understand you're already out there now kind of picking his brain for all kinds of information to pick up the ball where he leaves it. Tell us a little bit about the transition and how long you've been out there now. Is it a couple weeks now, or?
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think
A
I
little over 2 weeks.
started around August 21st, somewhere around there. I think it was August 21st. The dirty trick they played on me is the second day on the job, I had to go to Del Mar and tour what I consider probably the premier fairgrounds facility in the state of California. And
they said they wanted you to mimic that here.
Yeah,
compare that to what we have here. It was just, I told the guy that runs the fair there, it's really tough that you got to wake up to this view every day. And I mean, just on the racetrack, they had just replaced it this year at the turf and the dirt for $10 million, and our budget's probably about $300,000 to $400,000 a year. So that was kind of frustrating, but otherwise, just shadowing him and seeing the kind of things, it's kind of like my other life where your biggest job is dealing with things you never expected to deal with in any particular day or any particular time, and then getting a grip of the financials and seeing how the cash flow report comes in and out, and some of the fair rules, and how we deal with existing employees and the likes. But I feel a lot better than I did. You know, this was valuable time, and I keep telling him we're going to hold this last check and let him pick it up during the fair.
Yeah.
He's made a quasi commitment to come help me out at the fair, and I would appreciate that. Although frankly, this is still Mike's fair. He's done all the groundwork.
Right.
I think I got about $1,500 left in the budget to
Yeah.
add my touch to the fair. But he's done all
$1,500.
$1,500.
Wow.
He's already done about a $60,000
That'll buy the
commitment.
toilet paper for.
Yeah. The fair looks great. Just
Yeah.
to give a plug to the fair, everything you guys see looks.
Yeah, it looks
and,
great.
and
I was
all
out
the
there other day.
entertainment's free this year, which is different from last year, and we got some really good, diverse entertainment. And some neat amenities walking around the fair. The kids are gonna have a good time. If they never went on a ride, they'll have a good time. So,
That'd
we're
be
trying
fun.
to really. We got the 4-H and the rodeo folks energized again, and worked out some kinks there. And I'm really excited. The biggest advantage I have is, and I've told people, and I think I told you this in the past, is Mike was standing a wall of flames for the first 2 or 3 years, and it's hard to create a vision or a strategy going forward. And he's put the fire out. And now I get to come in and start rebuilding and doing some positive things and some proactive things and creating a vision. And it would have never happened without him willing to sacrifice the income that he did and put in the extra hours that he didn't get compensated for and getting all the volunteer help that he did to get us in a position where somebody else is going to get to come in. And frankly, I'll probably get credit for things that he put in action
Really,
many
he did
years
the
before.
groundwork for
That's
it.
Yeah,
okay, though.
yeah.
That's fine.
Kind of reminds
Let's
me
work
of
the other way
council.
with him.
Yes, you know.
Yeah.
Every council comes behind a council that spent years doing things that don't happen till years after the new council's in, and somebody else gets credit for it. But you know, that's just the way life goes in those type
Or
of
get
things.
the blame in some
Or the
cases.
blame.
Exactly.
Yeah, it works both ways too.
Yeah.
Just one little correction. Yeah, earlier you said that you started work on August 21st.
July 21st.
July,
Thank
yeah.
you. 'Cause I was gonna.
He hasn't started to work yet.
I know you're a miracle man, but
Actually, August 21st is the day I actually go before the board and get officially.
Yeah, officially. Yeah.
Voted on.
He's on a temporary contract right now.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
just
yeah.
considering
But
interim right now.
They'll finalize the contract on our next board meeting.
So when I visited you last week. The fair is known for the fair,
Mm-hmm.
but those facilities out there can be used for so much more,
Oh, yeah.
and they have been. And you've been tapping into that a little bit
Yeah.
while you've been there. Explain a little bit about that.
Well, you know, our whole income stream is basically based on our RV park. We have an RV park that has over 80 spaces. And then we also rent our facilities out there. So that's our main income stream. I mean, yes, the fair brings in income for us, and that's what we're known for. But the facilities are available for rent, for quinceañeras, for concerts, for office parties, Christmas parties, everything, Plus we have the RV park. So if you have an RV and you want to park it somewhere or live in it there, you can. You can be a resident.
And they have overnight rates as well as like
overnight
monthly rates? or-
overnight, weekly, monthly. Yeah.
Storage.
absolutely. Yeah, storage. We have
A
storage.
lot of people don't realize there's RV storage.
Yeah, we have RV storage there too. So,
Well, that's
that's basically how we derive most of our income, and that's how we do it. Plus, we have people. We just had a lady come up and donate over $12,000 to us.
Wow.
To buy new refrigerators and freezers and our kitchen. We have a kitchen that's now a commissary, and then she also donated money for some golf carts and some new washing machines and dryers for the RV park, for the laundry facility. So that's basically how we do it. So we have to, based on that, that's how we have to keep things operating. And then of course they pass the budget, and then the fairs are in the budget to receive some financial assistance from the state this year. We don't know what that amount's going to be. Hopefully it will be announced in the next week or so.
We were talking earlier that there's events out there from time to time. Now, does the fair put them on, or are they just renting it out? I mean, what I'm getting at, could Mr. Holloway seek out to bring those kind of events there to help raise money for
Sure.
the...
Yeah, basically most of what we put on the
Does
fair.
that get to the Friends of the Fair also, or who would be involved in trying to bring that around, other than the brainstorm of doing it?
Well, we have, as far as at the fairgrounds right now, I mean, we have a limited amount of staff, so we can't do a whole lot. We do the yearly fair. We have 2 yard sales that we do a year, and we have a wine walk that we do. Everything else out there is the facilities are rented and they're put on out there. So like the Gem and Mineral Show, Santa's Art Shop, the fireworks show, you know, that type of stuff, and the home show. Those people, those organizations, rent the facilities out. Except for the Lions Club, we donate that particular evening for the Lions Club to put on the 4th of July. But everything else other than those events I mentioned is actually individuals or groups coming in and renting our facilities and putting on those events.
But the more people that we could get to come in and utilize and rent the facilities,
sure,
the more activities we'd have, the more income the fair
exactly.
would have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we do have a marketing person that's trying to get in like gun shows and cat shows and dog shows and that type of stuff. So our facility is set
Guess
up.
what? It's break time again. Sorry, we'll be back after the break.
Join us. Welcome back to Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Al Huey, along with my partner Robert Eierman and our guest Mike Lemming and Chip Holloway. We're talking about Mike unfortunately leaving us to bigger and better things, and Mr. Holloway going to be taking over the management of the fairgrounds. Before we went to break, we were talking about some of the events that you have out there. Now, I'm sure that you haven't given it a lot of thought. You're just trying to pick up the ball from where it's left off. But knowing you, I'm thinking in the back of your head, you've got ideas churning up at night.
I have on my phone a note section that's now 4 pages, and just I'll be at another event or another facility or see an ad in the papers and travel,
yeah.
and I've got probably 60 or 70 ideas in there that I want to pursue. Again, one of my biggest concerns was just like when you get on council, you have all this vision and you find out, well, there's a rule against that or there's a rule against that. And being a state facility, I've been hesitant to expound on some of my ideas because I don't want to, I remember what it was like when I made some really stupid statements as a council member early on.
Really?
When I learned what I could really do.
When did that happen?
Yeah. I know.
Evidently last week, according to this. I'm actually feeling a lot better that a lot more can be done than I was worried about. I don't think there's a lot of restrictions that some of the things I was concerned about may not be an impediment to doing some other things.
Now, one of the complaints I've had about the fairgrounds, like at election time, go out there when I don't know if it's the fair or whatever event, I can't recall, I'm sorry, I've slept since then. But it's when the candidates go out and rent a space to promote their candidacy. It's been so darn expensive to get a little area to do that. Is there any way
last year, I think wasn't only $100.
Yeah, we had
really low last.
I'm talking about some years back.
Yeah.
So maybe
Well, we tried.
And I bring that up in that you're both familiar with the USO. I know you are in particular. The job that they've done there, obviously a lot of that, most of that, 99%, is all volunteers, money and time and effort.
Exactly.
But yet today, you go down there, you can go down there on an open mic night, they call it, and it's a non-flex Friday, $2 to get in the door, and you can get entertainment that's not all that bad for $2, you know?
Yeah.
And then they have free movie nights. I mean, those type of things to promote people to start using the facility to get, I guess it's like taxes, Chip.
Yeah.
Well, we can raise the taxes and get money, but actually, if you lower the taxes, you get more revenue.
Right.
Exactly.
That's part of what I'm trying to do is, I'm like to say that I'm really a financial guy in the sense that I want to understand the actual cost of that facility just to be sitting empty. That's the way I ran my restaurants. Is there was a certain cost whether any customers came in the door or not. That's the way I want to kind of analyze the fairgrounds. And yes, there's some events that may not get the ROI that you expect, but they build an equity. I hate the term, I've already talked to the board about eliminating the term fair manager because I want the emphasis off the fair. I want the emphasis on the facility and call it an event center or something to that effect so people start thinking of that area all the time, not just because I think most of the community think, oh, that's where the fair is. And it's it's an afterthought to even consider us for some of the things. And I know Kerr-McGee's booked a lot more than it's not booked. And a lot of people assume when Kerr-McGee's booked that there's no other venue that they can pursue. We talked about it just this morning. One of our hindrances is the fact that we only have swamp coolers in the summer. But there's a massive program going on through the state. Part of this money that we might get includes $7 million capital improvement fund that we're not going to get $7 million, but we have access to part of that. Maybe we get at least one of those buildings air conditioned, so then it becomes more viable during the summer months and things like that. I personally think the fact that people walk through dirt is an impediment to booking nicer events out there. So my goal is going to be to see if we can get a portion of that parking lot paved. Not enough for a fair crowd, but enough for a crowd of 100, 200 people parking there, and that would be some of my short-term goals. But I think the potential is incredible. I think the facility is incredible. He's got the facility back up to the shape where it's not falling apart anymore, and we can expound upon it. And I want to pursue grants. I want to pursue some of my political connections to see if we can get some
and get the volunteers involved.
Yeah, we got to get. I don't think. I've had people already come up to me and volunteer and say, is there a mechanism? And we do have a mechanism. We're even talking about starting a junior fair board and getting the kids involved. I'm president of Teen Court. Part of the community service for Teen Court has been a problem because you need adult supervision. Hello, I'm an adult, and I got work for you to do. So we can start bringing some of the Teen Court kids out there, which in turn gets them more familiar with the facility and recognize that the fair
4-H event besides the fair during the year.
We have a really good group of 4-H folks coming in now that are really excited and want to do some positive things. They've already had 2 work days out there. And I think they got another one coming up this weekend or next weekend.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they're trying to
and
really
that's
improve
tied
that.
into the junior livestock auction too. So we have some new people doing that.
And then you got that big dirt lot to the south. Could be turned into a BMX type thing or some for bikes or motorbikes.
It could be anything. It could be a million. It could be a huge solar park that
Yeah.
generates revenue for the fairgrounds year
Right
round
now
too.
it's just sitting there empty,
Right.
growing weeds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We-
What questions do you have, my partner
Time for
there?
a break.
No, it's now, long ago, I remember the fair very fondly because it had a wonderful array of out-of-town food vendors. And I don't know if it's true of late because I haven't been as visiting as often as I would like to, but it just went to heck, and they practically all went away. Is that going to be built back up?
That's already been built back up.
Excellent.
We have some outstanding food vendors from out of town. We have matter of fact, last year we featured deep fried alligator. So,
Cool.
back.
Sorry I missed that.
He's coming back.
Oh, he's
Okay.
coming back.
Coming back.
He's coming back. So we got all kinds
Okay.
of great. I mean, we'll have 2 or 3 new food vendors this year. So we have, matter of fact, last year we sort of even had some people sort of complain that we had too many food vendors. They couldn't enjoy all of it. So
I'd never complain about that.
So we do still have local nonprofits and everything, and we have a lot of out of town food vendors that come in with their nice setups and everything. So yeah, that's been improved. We increased that. We actually doubled our food vendors in the last 3 years.
Okay.
So it's fun. you know,
And to put the plug out, we still do have space for nonprofits.
Yeah,
A
we
lot
do.
of the nonprofits.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. We want to wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
in your
you.
new venture.
Thank you so
We're
much.
sorry to lose you. And thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
Go
guys.
OU.
Football
Go
season.
OU.
Less than 30 days. I'm outnumbered here.
Yeah.
Go
All
Tigers.
right, folks. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening.